fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live. Yes, I am live again for a random chat, people. And I did say a random chat. We're going to talk about all the structured stuff tomorrow. But I just wanted to reach out to you guys today. You know, we got promoters suing and all this. We got people signing the Zuffa. We got people hating on Zuffa. You know what I mean? And hey, it's boxing, the sport that I love, that I hate so much for a reason, people. Which is all good. It's all good to me. You know, when you guys come in, hit that like button, hit the like. I guess Conor Ben is turning into Richie Rich since he got $15 million contract and now he's blonde headed. That's the trip. That's a tripped out thing, right? Because I never see nobody that messes with their hair as much as Conor Ben. Man, that dude, he'll have a buzz cut, then he'll look like a Puerto Rican. Then you'll see him again, he'll look like a Italian, it's grown out. Then you see him again, it's blonde. Then you see him again, it's pink. I'm like, dude, what's the deal? Conor Ben, hey, use it or lose it, I guess. Because if he's anything like his dad, he's going to lose the hair. He's going to lose the hair, dude. But I think he did a right. Boxing, man, you don't have to be wrapped up with one promoter. See, here's the thing. Promotional companies and training camps are two different things. See, you should look at training camps a certain type of way, because it takes a while for a relationship between a trainer and a boxer to formulate, to form, to evolve, right? To gel. And sometimes a trainer knows you better than yourself. So when you do have a fighter trainer split up, that's always, you should take that more seriously, way more seriously than a, hold on a second, than a promoter. Why? Because a promoter to me is a guy that gets paid to do absolutely nothing. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm sure they have a job title, and I'm sure they do things, but they don't take a single punch. And managers, don't even get me started on managers, bro. Managers take 20% a lot of times. I remember Timothy Bradley was just talking about that. You know what I mean? Is it Vedram 5890? Hello, Counterpunch to you. So, I mean, for somebody that is going to get with someone else to make more money, why are we tripping about promoters, about managers? You know what I'm saying? It ain't like Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach. It ain't like Triple G and Abel Sanchez. And in both of those situations, they both split up. Unfortunately, Triple G didn't, reconnect back with Abel Sanchez. And I know he felt a certain way, but there's a precedent for a connection there. They should feel a certain type of way. You spend a lot of your time and your energy trying to train fighters, trying to keep them alive, keep them safe, their best interest, but not a promoter. A promoter don't do anything. They don't do jack but look for venues, right? Get contracts together, and a lot of that's the lawyers, not necessarily the promoters. You see what I mean? So that being said, it's like, yo, hold on a second. So it's like, what's really the deal about Conor leaving Eddie, and it's only one fight? Maybe Eddie shouldn't have took it that personally, trying to lie for Conor Ben when Conor Ben was on the juice, hiding stuff from people. And he did the same thing with Dillian White. So, you know what I mean? If you cut corners, that's your decision to cut corners, but don't get mad at the fighter if they decide to leave you for another promoter. Just because you do some shady stuff with that fighter doesn't give you the right to feel a certain type of way. You chose to do that shady stuff. You chose to withhold information to protect your fighter, but doesn't mean that your fighter is obligated to stay with you. Understand that. So no, I don't like, you have to look at those situations for what they are. Conor, he'll be back if he's still fighting. That's if he still wants to fight. You know, that's all I'm going to really say about that. But there's much more people that are involved in where Conor went. Now, Andy Ruiz just signed. You know who just signed? I can't wait. I'm going to go live tomorrow, maybe around 11 o'clock. 11 a.m. I will be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. and we will talk about the big news, okay, that just popped off. You guys know the videos are out there. If you don't know, you should know. So we're going to talk about all that good stuff. All that good stuff. I love these roads out here. Lago Vista. But no, I think if anything, you know, it is what it is. I know a lot of people, it's late, and I know a lot of people asleep, and I know a lot of people don't get notifications at all. That's how it works on Counterpunch Boxing News in 2026. Hey, if you would have called us 5 years ago, we'd have had 200-300 people on here, easy. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know. I mean, it's a different variations of certain things, but you know. If you guys don't know, you can't be blamed for it, right? So it is what it is. What else? Fabio Wardley, Daniel Dubois. Let's talk about it. I don't care what nobody says. Fabio Wardley beat Daniel Dubois in that face-off. He owned him in that face-off. Look, he beat him on the passive end and on the aggressive end. See, Fabio was supposed to be a laid back, I don't care, nothing bothers me type fighter, right? Which he was in spots, which he owned. But he was also in the face-off more controlled, more focused, more calm, more concentrated. He was that dude. And Daniel was, you know, and he broke, you know? So he didn't want to look at Fabio no more. It was too thick for him. It was way too thick for my man Danny Dubois. Now, what does that mean? Well, mentally Fabio got him. Mentally Fabio got him. But does that mean Fabio's going to win in the fight? I don't know. You know, I really don't know. But I can tell you this. I feel the more Daniel is pressed before the fight, the better he does. I'm just going to, you know, because it's by experience watching Daniel. You talk about Daniel. You rag on Daniel. You intimidate Daniel. You keep messing with Daniel. Ask Jarrell Miller about that. Ask Jarrell Miller about Daniel Dubois. Ask him about Daniel Dubois. Ask him what Daniel did to him. He went upside his head. That's what he did to him. He boxed him all night. He landed conditions. He would not let up. He did take a licking and keep. So, you know, Philip Hergovic, he said the man had no balls. Knowing doggone well, he just had a child. I don't think that Daniel, I think he has muscles, but I don't think he has balls. That's what he said. But what happened? He got busted up, cut up, and the fight was stopped. But he stopped fighting. So Philip Hergovic came in there thinking that he was going to fight another cream puff, another PUSSY. But what happened? He ran into Daniel Dubois at a 10, not a 2. He thought he was going to fight Daniel Dubois at a 2. Oh, was he mistaken? Oh, yes, he was. Oh, yes, he was. And to be fair, people, I'm going to throw this out there. Maybe Anthony Joshua, underestimated him too. AJ thought, I'm going to hit him with a couple right hands and he's going to go out like a light. So a lot of people thought that Daniel Dubois was one thing and they went in there with him and found out he was something totally different. So we just got to keep it real, man. I don't have nothing against Daniel Dubois. I do not have anything against Fabio Wardley. I like both fighters. It is a don't blink type fight. It is a fight promoted by Queensberry Promotions. It is a fight both by two Brits that got something to prove. One wants to keep the belt. The other one wants to retain a new belt. That's what it is. So, look, it is what it is, people. I do think at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, that's going to be a great fight. And I hope Frank Warren is right. Bars. I hope it is the fight of the year. I hope they do throw punches and bunches. I hope they do go toe-to-toe. I hope they do leave out less than when they came in, because that's what it takes to sacrifice having the fight of the year. I hope it's like a Fabio Wardley / Frazier Clark 1 type fight. I hope it is like that. But it's going to come at a price, but that's okay. They know what they signed up for. They're getting paid. It's prize fighting. That's what it's about. It's the Kumite. That's why they call this sport blood sport, kids. That's why they call it that. They'll be all right. They got enough brain cells. They're young enough. They are young enough. Okay? So it is what it is. But no, Fabio won that face-off, dude. He won that face-off. He won it. Because Daniel, he doesn't like those situations. Daniel doesn't like to even really talk. And I think Daniel got a bad rap. I think, and a lot of people haven't really, dude, look at these deers. There's like gangs of them out here. Listen, it's like this. I think that Daniel Dubois, there's a possibility that he has like social anxiety. Yeah, social anxiety, man. He may get like, let's see, this 3. Okay. He may get to the point where he doesn't like to talk because, he may have that social anxiety, man. He may have it. He may have social anxiety. He may get to a point where he's like, you know what? I don't really like to talk. He loves to fight, but talking that's not his strong point. It's not his strong point. At all. Hold on a second, guys.